Good morning, everyone. We are live at K1ZEK's new ham shack located in Groton, Connecticut. Leo moved up from South Carolina to Groton, and we are going to do a little flapping between myself and Lionel. Okay, Leo, how you doing today?
I'll tell you, if I was doing any better, it would be sinful. No, we're doing great. It's a beautiful day, and the Lord blessed me with you two guys coming over to visit today. I'm just delighted.
It's great seeing you.
Yeah.
Well, maybe a little quick look around in your ham shack here. Well, it's got a lot done, but you got a lot more to do.
Yeah, under construction. Yeah.
Under construction.
Yeah. And,
okay.
My son and I have been doing a lot of work on it, and he's been my right-hand man. Yeah. I'm blessed with a son like you have, Bill, who keeps you company and helps you out all the time. The Lord has blessed us both.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, well, this is the ham shack. I made it so the door opens in so I can have a screen door here. And I custom made this. Originally I sat on the yard in the lawn looking around and trying to figure out where I wanted it. And this is it. And we're gonna put a deck here. There's it's built with all 2x4s, 16 inches on center. I'm insulating it. I'm using Bill's idea on insulation, and which has worked out very good. And the roof is a flat roof with about a 3-degree pitch. And we use that new self-adhesive roll-on roofing, which was really, really good. And we're putting in a 100-amp electrical panel service here, and this whole section is all going to be all shelves, and which will contain the stuff that we had in our 2 barns and stuff down south, and stuff that we just can't fit in the house up here that we don't want to get rid of.
Is this going to be the ham shack, or is this end going to be the ham shack?
This is going to be that's going to be the ham shack. This is going to be storage, and it's going to have one heavy-duty workbench over here with a vise and a bench grinder. And like if I need to sharpen a blade on the lawnmower and stuff like that, I can do it here.
Okay.
This side over here, this door opening, as you notice, I framed everything. With double headers, 2x6s and stuff, and king frames and jacks and everything. It's a total overkill, but I wanted it to last.
Oh yeah, I wish my shed was like this.
And, what I did was I marked the floor 3 feet all around, so I have an idea with shelving and workbenches, so how much clear floor space I have. And I've sat around and looked and studied it, and like this outlet's going to be on a separate circuit, that one and that one's on a separate circuit, the lights are on separate circuits, this is on a separate circuit. There'll be another bench here. This will be my electronics repair bench, this will be my ham radio bench, and my toolboxes will go on this wall over here. I have 2 roll-around toolboxes, and we're going to frame it out and put an air conditioner in the wall there.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And we're going to put a hung ceiling in here.
Suspended ceiling.
Yeah, I did that in South Carolina. It worked great. I'm going to put a framework just below this carrying beam all around this high.
So it'll keep it cooler in here, I think, you know.
I'm going to put soffits on the ends, on both ends, so you can feel the air. You can actually feel it blowing through these soffits, and so that air will be up above the ceiling to keep it cool. And all the lights on this side are on one circuit, and the lights on that side. And I put the windows specifically, so if I'm at this workbench here working, and I decide to sit down because, you know, in our 70s, almost 75, you can't stand too long.
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
I know the
So
feeling.
if I sit here and I'm working on something, I get tired and sit down, I can look out and see the front of the back of the house and see if anybody's coming. And the same thing over there, I can look out and see the highway over there, and I can see the yard here. And so I made the windows specifically in these locations for that reason.
Those are nice windows.
Yeah, they're called a project shed window, and they have screens too. I couldn't believe for $64, I think they were a piece.
And that's similar to the windows I got on my porch. Not quite, but almost like it.
And they got screens that come out.
Yep.
And
Yep.
yeah. So.
And you got your ham towers out there, it looks like, right?
I got all my ham towers, getting ready to put them up, but I'm only going to put one up here. And that tower is going to fold. It's going to only be 10 feet tall and have a hinge, which will fold over. And there'll be a 10-foot section that folds over, and then the mast coming out of it. And so I don't have to climb. You see the other videos I made under K1ZEK. I've got that all videoed, so if anybody was interested.
Okay, folks. Well, I think we should start with a story, Lionel, of how we met. Because the honest truth, I don't recall the exact circumstances when we met.
Well, I do. And this is going to confirm what a lot of people posted on a video of yours. I think it was just yesterday. What a nice person you are.
Well,
and
I don't know about that.
I don't want to embarrass you, but when I was younger, young person, I used to go to a place called Aiken's Electronics on Broad Street in New London.
I spoke about that.
Yeah, and you know, I was always intimidated by people. I don't know why, but that's how I was. And when I used to go there, you were working there, and you were so accommodating and so friendly and so polite. I don't want to make this a sickening thing, but you were just a nice person. And that's where I met you. And I was just, you were just a nice person, and a memorable person. And then lo and behold, a very, very good friend of ours, God rest his soul, Dave Cochran, was a friend of yours. And also was a friend of mine, but we didn't know that we were friends with each other, and we just had, because we were friends with each other at different times in our lives.
Yeah, I met Dave through Citizens Band Radio. He was the Grasshopper.
Yeah.
He had a green pickup truck.
Yeah.
I met him in 1973 when I got back into CB. I was in CB in '63. I was KBC 7551 at that time. And I lived in New London.
Oh, for God's sake.
And in 1973, KFO 1720, I believe, was my call. We had to have a license in '73 also.
Yeah.
And I met Dave. He was the Grasshopper. He was one of the first CBers I met. And Dave was my best friend. And he was also my best man at our wedding.
Yeah, he was a good person to do that, man.
He was the smartest, you can testify to that.
Smartest guy I ever met.
Yeah, there isn't anybody, I don't even think to this day, if Dave was still alive, that could touch Dave's talents, match Dave's talents with computers.
Yeah, he was blessed with that ability, and I was 1Q0761. Many, I can't remember how long ago, when I had a CB radio. And I think I met Dave through the CB radio also, but I didn't know that you knew him, and I didn't know, you know, we just didn't make that connection until much later in years. I think Dave was going to a picnic or something at your house and dragged me along or something, and we reinstated our friendship, and it was really weird, you know. I mean, how it came about. And then all of a sudden, one day, I was watching some YouTube videos, and which was new to me, and I says to my wife, I says, that voice is so familiar. And she says, yeah. She says, I recognize that voice, but I hadn't seen you in probably 30 years.
Yeah, that's been a long time, because back when we met, there was no such thing as the internet.
No.
Or let alone YouTube.
No, I met Dave when computers were just
starting out.
Yeah, just starting. He had just gotten a job, I think, at Pfizer's in computers.
Yeah, he was the head. Yeah, he was working down in the computer center.
Yeah.
But he became the top man over there.
Right.
He knew everybody went to him for any question.
Well, it was so far back that Dave had a computer in his house that he had this box like that was the cradle for a headset for the phone.
Yeah, what do you call them? I can't think of them. You put the phone down in there.
Yeah, and it connected to his computer.
Yeah.
And he actually he used to do work from home.
Acoustic coupler.
Yeah. And I was just so scared that I was in a room where there was a computer and somebody was doing something like that. I was scared. I mean, I just was, you know, just. And I mean, but that's when back then, that's how long ago it was.
Yeah, you know? Yeah, and I remember Dave would, he lived in New London with his parents at the time, and he had a bedroom up in the attic.
Yes. Yeah, and a shop in the basement. He had an oscilloscope and all kinds of stuff.
And he built a frequency counter, heat kit out of a kit for him. He built that, and he had he was into ham.
Yeah.
He had a license. I can't remember his call now, but I should be able to remember it. Anyways, he was doing games.
Yes.
And I wasn't interested in games. I couldn't care less about computers. I still don't like them to this day.
Me neither. I'm not a gamer.
Too confusing, you know. My brain is geared for the 50s. Never mind 80. At that time, it was the late 70s, I believe. I'm not even sure what year it was. And he would be doing games, and he'd be showing me the game here and the characters and everything. I wasn't interested in it.
Yeah.
He got to a point where eventually he got an Amiga, and it was amazing. The Amiga 500, he was able to type in and have this computer speak to you.
Yes, yes.
From what I understand, Amiga is the first one that came out with text to voice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was always on the cutting edge of everything, and he was just so smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to tell me to do something, and I would finally say, Dave, why am I doing this? To get you out of my hair while I'm fixing your computer.
Yeah, because he
jobs.
was a guy, he was a heck of a nice guy. I really, really miss him. And, you know, he was a good friend.
He was
but there's one thing about him I did not like is that he tells you something one time, he gets a little upset if you ask him the same question again. With me, I got to be shown 4 or 5 or 6 times. That's the way my brain is.
Well, he wouldn't show me. He used to just send me off in another room and give me a make-do job, because he wouldn't even bother to show me.
He'd just do it.
Yeah, he would do it, and I would have to beg him to teach me, you know?
He would explain something, but he would explain it so fast that I knew less than what I did before I asked him.
He was on another plateau.
Yeah, he was a genius at computers, and a lot of
this is turning into a love fest for Dave.
Yeah, I know it. It's supposed to be from us, but now you met me through Aikens.
Aikens Electronics. You were a counterman, and I was a young kid. I was KN1ZEK, a ham radio operator, and Aikens used to sell ham stuff, and my grandmother, God rest her soul, used to give me $1 to go into Aikens and buy a QST or a CQ magazine.
Yeah, because we used to sell magazines, and I think at the time you were going there, that was way before I started working there.
Probably, yeah.
Yes, because I started in the late 70s, 77, 78 are the years that I was working there.
Yeah.
before that, I was working for a vending company, American.
Yes,
vending.
yes,
yes. And
yeah.
yes, years ago, you used to go into Aikens, and that was
before you started there.
Before I started there.
That's where I met you.
Right.
Yeah.
And yes, when I was working there, we used to sell Sencor equipment.
Yeah, testing.
I used to get the dealer cost. If I bought one piece of test equipment there and paid on time payments, I paid Aikens so much a week.
They were nice. They were nice people.
Yes, and
Colin, especially Colin and his brother.
Yeah.
And the father. They were,
yeah, we had Howie Martell.
That was his last name.
He was the CB expert.
Yeah.
He was into Citizen Band. He wasn't a ham operator.
Right.
So if you needed anything about Citizen Band, go to Howie. We used to call him, Colin had a nickname for him. The Weasel. Used to call him Weasel.
Oh, was that right?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was fun.
It was cute, yeah.
And Colin was one of the Aikens sons, and then Billy Aikens, and so
the Mrs. Aikens,
she
worked in the office too.
I think so, and Mr. Aikens was very strict looking.
Yeah.
He'd give you a dirty look if you were standing around not doing anything. He wouldn't say a word. But it's okay to go up and drink coffee. You can drink 10 cups of coffee a day. That always bothered my stomach because Aikens had very strong coffee. And I don't like strong coffee.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to take a break, he never minded you going over and getting a coffee. But he'd stand in that doorway from the office once in a while.
Yeah, right.
And he'd be looking at you and he'd give you
but
kind of a stern look. Like, get going. I mean, he did that with everybody.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the relationship with Aikens. It helped mold my life. And I always was, like I say, I was always impressed with you as a person there. And
well, I try to be courteous with everybody, and I learned a lot by picking the brains of some of the TV men, like I used to do back in the late 50s when I lived in New Haven. I used to visit every television and radio shop and pick their brain. How does this work? How does that work? Even how to solder. The very first time in 1959, 1960, I learned how to solder by asking the guy what's the right technique. And so forth. So I learned a lot from them. And
what was that fella's name on Bank Street? You were friends with him. He was a nice guy. He helped me out a lot.
Nate Carver?
Nate Carver.
Oh, Nate Carver. Yes, I got a video.
And Jerry Jacobs. Remember American TV? Jerry Jacobs.
American TV?
Yeah.
I remember American Vending.
No,
which is where I used to work.
Yes. No, that was
American. No, I remember.
What did I say?
ABC TV. Bill Kirby.
Oh yeah, Bill.
His brother was Kenny Kirby. Kennesaw Mountain Kirby. He was a country singer. I bought some of my stuff from ABC TV, Bill Kirby, years ago when I lived on Reed Street in New London, house long gone now. But Nate Carver, I learned a lot from him. He was in deep theory. He would explain things. And he would explain something the way I wanted to be taught. He didn't just rattle off something and then hope your mind gets it.
He had a huge multimeter.
It was a Hickok 209A.
I don't know how you can remember these numbers. I watch your videos, and Tommy's the same way. Comes out with remembering the camera numbers, what you're doing. I just get so confused. I can't remember what
I had one of those.
I stopped eating breakfast because I can't remember what I would have for breakfast.
Well, I can't anymore. I can't anymore.
But
how's that camera? Still holding up?
Yeah.
Good.
Good. But I'll tell you. Going back through history, our paths have crossed back and forth, and as I was saying, I recognized your voice before I recognized who you were.
On YouTube.
On YouTube.
When you, because we have been separated for quite a while.
Yeah. I think
you were traveling in a motorhome.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we took a few years and did nothing but travel around the country in a motorhome. We sold everything. And everything we owned was in the compartments of the motorhome.
Yeah.
That was a great time. It was a good thing. I'm glad we did it before the country.
You got to see some of the country.
Before it's going crazy like it is now. But let's not get into that.
No, that's very depressing.
Yeah.
But you and I go back quite a while. And I miss the Aikens days. Because I not only got to meet all the television and radio repairmen, of which there were quite a few back then.
Oh, yeah.
But the good old vacuum tubes is what I love working with.
You know, Nate Carver taught me how to clip the grids. You short the grid out and you can hear it clicking, in the radio.
Oh, yeah, basic things. It's amazing. He knew the basic theory of how to do things and everything. And, And
Jerry Jacobs, he let me use a workbench there to build my first AC power supply. And taught me how to do that. We used an old transformer out of a TV set and a 5U4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those kind of people cultivated us.
Right. There's nothing like, it isn't like nowadays. Everything's solid state and integrated circuits and microelectronic. That stuff does not interest me, but when you get something modern, it's amazing that it works in such small things. But the real deep love I have, and I don't know if you feel the same way, is the vacuum tube stuff, where you got the glow of the vacuum tubes around you, the heat they give off in the winter time, the ease of working on most of it. Not all of it's easy.
It wasn't a throwaway society.
It's not a throwaway society. That's correct.
And that's why you see so many guys fixing up these American 5 tubes and stuff.
All American 5,
because they're fixable.
Yeah, they are.
And it's just so much fun and feeling of accomplishment when you do something.
Yep.
Okay,
so what else can we think about as how we
your parties at your house? And the pizza that the women would bring in from Rhode Island, and Dave and Sue and Sue's relatives and Sandy's relatives.
Well, we used to have some big cookouts.
They used to bring sheets of pizza from Rhode Island.
Yeah, they get them. Yeah, the party pizza they call them. Yeah, they come in. Yeah.
Those were some of the best days.
And we had a lot of friends and relatives come over there.
Yeah.
The most I think we had at one time, only 1 year, was I think. Either 31 people or 51 people at one time over there, but that was like 1 year only.
Yeah.
When Dave would come, Dave would bring his grandfather.
Oh, that was before me.
Yeah, and I think you were on the road at those years.
Probably.
Yeah. We had a lot of people in the. At the cookouts, and I'd say 3/4 of the people that used to go there are gone and no longer with us.
God, yeah.
I lost my cousin Rose not even a year ago. It's age 75. A little over a year ago, her husband Sam, he was a carpenter.
Yeah.
He had cancer all over his body. He died. He suffered really bad.
That's a shame.
Even the morphine didn't work. My Aunt Eva died at least 10 years ago. My cousin Wayne, who's a year or two younger than me, he died of stomach cancer a good 10 years ago. I mean, everybody is just going, and it's very depressing.
It is.
And
that's why having friends like you and being able to.
I'll just ignore it. It's probably a telemarketer.
Being friends, being able to relocate, and come together is such a good thing.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And there's nothing more aggravating than the phone ringing when I'm making a video.
I hear you say that so often.
It always is. And 99% of the time it's a telemarketer.
Yeah.
So I just let it ring and let the voicemail pick up.
Yeah.
It could be Sandy, but after this interview, we'll find out.
Yeah.
because she's probably awake by now. She don't sleep good at night.
Did you leave her a note where you were?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, the cookout days were really, really
Those
good.
were great.
Those were the
Those
good
were
times.
great days. Yeah.
So, well, I guess we could wind this up here. It's the first time I've ever been up here.
Yeah. Well, we just moved back to Connecticut about 5 months ago.
And with this
And the last
Corona crap going on here.
yeah, between taking care of my mother-in-law who passed away, God rest her soul, and the Corona thing, we've been totally isolated, and it's been a very difficult time for us. But I'm glad for you two, because it reunited us again, and I'm glad for your friendship, and Tommy and Sandy, and I'm glad we have fond memories, and God bless everybody on YouTube, and all our friends, and God bless you guys. I love you very much, and it's very nice. Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to wind this up. I want to thank you, Lionel or Leo.
Yeah.
I've been calling you Lionel ever since I've known you, and then you changed it to Leo. So.
Yeah, when my son moved back, we decided to go with the nicknames.
Yeah.
And Lionel, in English, the nickname is Leo, and in French, it's Lee. So my son is Lee, and I am Leo. So it makes it easier for when my wife calls out Lionel, instead of, we don't both go running or answering her, you know.
Yeah, because your son is Lionel Jr., right?
He's the third. I'm Junior.
Yeah. So, yeah, I can see it makes it easier.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, folks, I think we're going to wind this one down.
This has been a long time coming, this flapping video.
Yes, we've been meaning to do this at least a year ago.
Yeah.
But we got to do it today.
Yeah.
So, folks out there, I hope you enjoyed our flapping. That's what we were doing, weren't we?
That's it, flapping the gums.
Flapping the old gums.
How do we do it?
Take care, everybody.
God bless.